Now at 6, gunfire erupts outside the Clackamas Town Center Mall.
I saw a bullet come in and hit the top of the restaurant.
The latest on the investigation. Plus,
we've never had a winner of this size in our state.
A possible winner comes forward in that $1 billion Powerball jackpot, and we just learned where that lucky ticket was sold. And the clouds part just in time for a partial solar eclipse. How sky gazers took in the rare phenomenon here and across the country. And meet the Oregon teen getting ready to take on the best fencers in the world at the Paris Olympics.
If I didn't have my dad pushing me or my family pushing me to be here, I wouldn't be here.
And thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Gordon in for David. We're learning more tonight about a shooting outside the Cheesecake factory at the Clackamas Town Center. Witnesses say they heard several gunshots around 6 Sunday evening and even saw a bullet hit the restaurant. Thomas Schultz joins us live from the mall. And Thomas, such a scary thing. What do investigators have to say about it?
Yeah, well, Clackamas County Sheriff's Office officials, Tim, are investigating, and they say that they received multiple 911 calls from people who say two groups were fighting outside the Cheesecake factory before shots were fired. Now, there's still a lot we don't know about this incident. We don't know who the shooter is or if there were more than one shooter. We also don't know if this was a targeted incident, though officials now say at least one person may have been shot. Investigators have met with somebody who checked into a local hospital with a gunshot wound, and Sheriff's Office Public Information Officer Ross Clemson didn't say what condition that person was in. And he says it's still not clear if that person was shot in this shooting or in a different incident. Throughout their investigation, deputies are also checking security cameras around the town center. We also reached out to the Cheesecake factory about this, though we haven't yet heard back. Though a couple witnesses told KGW they heard several gunshots on Sunday. One woman was celebrating a family birthday when the shooting happened. At the time, she grabbed her 4-year-old daughter and hid underneath the table, though she says many others didn't realize what was going on.
And you could hear shots right after the bullet landed, and I'm like, nobody knows that this is gunshots? Like, nobody was concerned.
And this shooting comes after a 2012 shooting here at the Clackamas Town Center where a shooter shot himself and killed 2 other people here as well. Now, the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office says in this incident that happened last night, anyone with information should contact police immediately. Tim?
Thomas, thanks for the update. Well, a traffic alert tonight in Hillsboro where a crash has Northeast Cornell Road closed between Grant Street and Arlington Road. That's just southwest of the Hillsboro Airport. Firefighters rescued one person. They were taken to the hospital with injuries that are not life-threatening. The crash also knocked down several power poles. PGE shows more than 1,000 people in the area are without power. Right now, it's estimating it'll take several more hours to restore that power. The road will stay closed until then, so avoid the area. Well, in your headlines tonight, police are looking for the person who robbed a Southeast Portland cannabis store, the latest in dozens of robberies the store has suffered over the past few years. Surveillance video shows what happened at Eden Cannabis Friday night. You can see the suspect entering the store as a customer is speaking with 2 employees. The customer begins to fight with the suspect. As employees slowly move toward the safe room, the suspect jumped the counter. Then the staff tried locking the door. The customer began throwing a tip jar and then a chair at the suspect. Then the suspect hit him in the head with a pistol.
I have another friend who has 4 or 5 shops, and he experiences the same thing. I don't know what can be done, except the city's just got to get a grip on what's going on here and give us a hand.
Authorities say the suspect ran before they made it on scene. No one was seriously hurt. Well, a Happy Valley family is without a home after a devastating fire last night. A little after 9, Clackamas Fire got a call about a chimney fire on Southeast Maple Hill Lane off 172nd Avenue. By the time firefighters arrived, everyone had gotten out safely, but as you can see by those pictures, the fire had spread to the entire home, engulfing the 2nd floor. The roof eventually collapsed. Firefighters finally got it under control after about 3 hours. No word yet on the cause of that fire. Well, Portland police say a man who was hit by a car a week ago in North Portland has died from his injuries. Last Monday morning, 31-year-old Cameron Giles was hit on Interstate Avenue near Sumner Street in the Overlook neighborhood. Giles was taken to the hospital with major injuries and died 3 days later. Police say the driver was cooperative and has not been cited or charged. Well, power output at hydroelectric dams across the Northwest dropped last year to its lowest level in more than 2 decades. That as demand for power continues to rise. This is according to a new report by the U.S. Energy Information Administration. For the water year beginning in October 2022, Oregon and Washington generated 20% less hydropower than the previous year. That was due in part to a drier winter and that rapid snowmelt brought on by last May's heat wave. Dams in the Columbia Basin generate about 60% of the power of the Northwest. Demand is expected to rise 25% over the next decade. Well, some major upgrades are on the way for Berrydale Park. It's in southeast Portland's Montevilla neighborhood. Today, Commissioner Dan Ryan announced an additional $1 million in funding for the more than $4 million project there. Berrydale will be getting a new playground and skate park, new accessible paths and tables, as well as new lighting and landscaping. Construction is expected to start this fall and take about a year. Matt?
Thanks so much, Tim. It's been a cloudy day around the Northwest. So some people caught a glimpse of that partial solar eclipse for Oregon, partial solar eclipse. Pictures for you on that coming up a bit later. Still, heavy clouds hanging over the Reserve Golf Course, 55 degrees right now. So a bit on the cool side for early April. And there have been April showers, but mainly to the north of the Columbia River. Really not much coming our way here at all. See the heavier rain up on the Olympic Peninsula there. So as far as our temperatures go, 5 below the average of 60. No rain today, but we are above average since the rainy season began back in October. So cloudy overnight. Clouds will clear though tomorrow, and we get a warm up coming our way midweek. We'll be flirting with 70 yet again. Tim, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Matt. Well, it's a big deal here in Oregon. A person has now come forward saying they are the winners of the $1.3 billion Powerball jackpot. And we learned the Portland store where the ticket was sold. Daisy Caballero joins us in the newsroom with an update. Daisy?
Yeah, Tim, we don't know the winner's name just yet because the lottery is taking safety measures before making that announcement. But we do know that it was sold at the Plaid Pantry off Northeast Columbia Boulevard near 60th Avenue. This is the 4th largest Powerball jackpot in history. The Plaid Pantry store that sold the winning ticket has sold other large Oregon lottery jackpot prizes in the past, including a $3.3 million Megabucks jackpot last summer. That store location will receive a $100,000 bonus for selling the ticket. The winner will have the option to take either a lump sum payout of $621 million before taxes or take an annuity payout over many years. The Oregon Lottery will keep about 24% of the cash value option if the winner decides to take the single payout. Even though we don't know the name again just yet, Oregon law says that name has to be released at some point.
So according to state law, you cannot remain anonymous if you win the lottery in Oregon. And there are very few exceptions. I would say they're rare and, few. An example might be like if someone is in a domestic violence situation and putting their name out there might put them at risk in terms of their security.
And if you're wanting more information, we have several articles on KGW.com with more information about all of this. Tim, back to you.
All right, exciting stuff. Thanks, Daisy. Well, now if the winner doesn't live in Oregon. Moving on, today President Biden announced a revised plan that could significantly reduce or wipe out altogether the student loan debt of tens of millions of borrowers. The plan erases up to $20,000 in accrued interest for borrowers who owe far more than what they originally borrowed. Interest could also be wiped out for those on income-driven repayment plans. That's for individuals making under $120,000 a year. The White House estimates 23 million borrowers could have their unpaid interest eliminated. Those eligible for certain forgiveness programs and others who started paying off their loans more than 20 years ago could also see their debt reduced or forgiven.
By freeing millions of Americans from this crushing debt of student debt, it means they can finally get on with their lives instead of their lives being put on hold.
Now, you may remember the Supreme Court struck down President Biden's first effort at mass student loan relief in 2022. The Biden administration says the new plan relies on a different law that allows the Education Secretary to waive loans under certain circumstances. The Education Department will release a draft rule and seek public comment in the coming months.